Hi Michael, how you going?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks. Yeah.
That's good. Have you been since our last session?
Yeah. What was the question?
I was just asking how you think you've travelled this last week since our last session. You look a little bit, I suppose, just not really yourself, a little bit dishevelled. Can you tell me what's been going on?
Lot of tears.
Yeah.
A lot of tears. I don't really know. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. I lost Tom.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know we've spoken a bit about that and how incredibly hard it is for you. It sounds like there's a bit of confusion around how you're feeling. You've noticed that you've been physically teary. Can you tell me?
A lot.
A lot? Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not sleeping well. I'm not eating well.
Okay.
And I cry a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And considering what you've gone through, it is very normal to not only be having these emotional reactions, but also these physical, and you mentioned the sleep disturbance, the lack of appetite, and in the grieving process, these things are normal, and it's good that you're aware of them and acknowledging that you have been crying. Can you tell me a little bit about the emotions you've been feeling?
I just really disconnected. I get really angry at mum and dad.
Yeah.
That's at them. I'm really disconnected. Really.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't even really know what my emotional state is. I feel numb, completely numb.
Yeah.
And but mum and dad keep trying to get me into God, into the church, and that makes me really angry.
Okay.
Really angry, and that's probably that's about the only feeling that I know of that I'm having at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
and I want to shut everyone out, and I want to be left alone.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds quite draining where you are. The only I suppose emotion you can identify is that anger, and I suppose in the cycle of grief, which we often see, some of the first stages are that shock where we feel a bit numb, and also that anger at the loss, and it's just
it's not really at the loss, it's just at mum and dad.
Yes.
So I can separate that.
Okay.
I don't really feel angry at the loss. I feel angry at my ex-partner as well.
Yes,
my ex-partner is. So there's a bit of pushing around, like emotional blaming me for what happened to Tom.
Yeah.
So my ex-partner's blaming me. I again feel angry at my ex-partner, and so it's not really. I can separate those two, so it's not really angry at what happened with Tom.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a bit different.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you for clarifying that for me. So this anger that you're feeling towards your partner, your ex-partner, and also your parents, how are you managing that? Do you have any ways of coping, or?
I'll just shut the door, leave me alone.
Yeah.
And it's just too hard basket. I can't believe that they're putting that pressure on me during this, but I don't know what else to do.
Okay. sounds to me like you're feeling overwhelmed.
Oh, terribly. Yeah.
Okay. And this might be a little bit uncomfortable for me to ask you, but I do have to ask. I know you have a lot going on, and we've spoken the last two sessions also about your mood and your support systems, which would have normally been your parents and in your church community. I know you're not in contact with them at the moment. You are coming here, which shows huge strength, and I think it's excellent what you're doing in your commitment to the counselling process. But I do just have to ask, with these ongoing low moods, are you having any thoughts of killing yourself?
No.
Okay.
Just numb. I feel numb.
Yes.
I don't even really know what my thoughts are.
Yeah.
So that's off the
Okay.
table.
I just have to ask. I understand.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for your honesty with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to, I suppose, supports you have around you just to begin to start to process some of this stuff, after you leave the counselling session. I know we spoke about your church and your spirituality in the past. I'm just wondering what kind of, I suppose, actions you would do or practices you might have that in the past may have given you relief or solace in stressful situations or adversities you faced.
Well, yeah, I've never really faced anything like this, and so I guess that's the problem, is those practices of going to church, having that community around, was a great support on a normal, regular day.
Yeah.
And it was great to have that sense of community, but I feel so alone. Like mum and dad trying to get me into something that I don't really have faith in at the moment, and I don't know if I ever will. And then the ex-partners putting that pressure on me, so to answer the question, I guess the practices previously applied for daily basis stuff, which was great. But
Yeah.
it doesn't really have a place for me at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah. I just completely lost.
And it sounds, from what you're saying, that potentially you mightn't get that faith back. That's also quite I suppose, a scary thought, and something you might be grieving for in a secondary sort of way to your primary loss, and it's something to acknowledge as well. It's very difficult, but I think just support.
It is that loss. Like, I just feel like I've lost everything.
Okay.
Like, you're right.
Yeah. And when you talked about some pressures and stresses with your ex-partner,
she's blaming me for Tom's for the accident, saying that it was my fault, and I was being a responsible parent, cooking dinner.
Yep.
And if she wasn't such an idiot and left and went to that other guy,
would you like a glass of water or anything? Do you need a minute?
Maybe it wouldn't have happened. Just maybe it wouldn't have happened. I can't believe she's blaming me for that. Yeah. Massive loss for both of us.
Yes, yeah. And I suppose we can't, control or affect how anyone else is going to think or behave. Do you have any reason to be in contact with your partner at the moment if it is all negative? Or
I would rather not.
Yeah.
There's no real ties between us anymore.
Yeah.
Other than this grief.
Yeah.
And I don't want to talk to her.
Yeah. Might be something just to consider, you know, maybe just cutting any stresses and your day, if I'm right in saying day to day is extremely stressful at the moment, and I think minimizing those different kind of barriers we have, you know, from getting you from to here to just a better place where there's a little bit of space around the consuming grief you're feeling at the minute
I
is
think that's a good idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with your relationship with your parents, I know when it comes to, you know, their spiritual beliefs around the things that have happened, it's just a very difficult topic and kind of something that sounds like it's easier not to broach at the moment.
Yeah.
Do you have any contact with them at the moment?
Yeah.
Or?
Regularly. Like we live in a pretty close proximity.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, they're continually saying it's God's will.
Okay.
That doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. It was an accident, and it's terrible.
Absolutely.
Just I can't accept it that it is God's will at all. And then if it is, like, why would God take a 4-year-old? Like, and then they asked me to go to church and praise this person that's taken a 4-year-old from me. Idiots. So it's difficult to love them back, but yeah.
And
I just don't get it at the moment, okay?
Yeah. It sounds like it's a very confusing time, and it's going to take some time to work out and you know, rejuggle how I suppose you view the world and your faith and those relationships with your family. I suppose everybody's going to have to grieve in their own way, and yeah, I'm just here to walk along that with you and give you the best you know, strategies possible to move forward.
I think that what you were saying before, and like letting go of my ex-partner a bit more and setting that boundary, saying stay away is a really good step at the moment.
Yeah.
Because difficult with mum and dad being so close.
Yes. Yeah.
That ex-partner is definitely one less stress that I can manage, I guess.
Yeah. And it's good just to kind of,
So I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. And just with Tom, I suppose I'm just wondering what spiritual practices you would have around, or if you could just tell me a bit more about your understanding of the life and death process. And do you speak to Tom still? Do you pray to him? Is there anything you're finding comfort in?
Well, I feel like he's still around.
Okay.
Yeah, and I chat to him and let him know that he's missed, and I love him dearly, and it's very difficult to let go of that love. I don't think that love will ever get let go of. So I'm not sure if his spirit has left this earth, or like if it's just in my head.
Yep.
But I'm definitely I'm chatting to him.
Yep.
On a daily basis.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're honoring that memory and Okay.
Yeah, and that it was definitely not his fault that what happened.
Yeah.
And that he hasn't let me down. It's just an accident that occurred.
Yeah.
So he can rest peacefully.
That's really positive, and it's really great to hear, you know, that he is resting peacefully and that you've had that conversation. that's huge. That's really important. What would have your relationship been like with your pastor at the church?
I don't know. I haven't really spoken to anyone at the church or the pastor, so I'm staying away from that.
Okay.
I don't want to go there.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I can't answer for the pastor, so.
Yeah, I was just I suppose wondering maybe if down the road it might be
It's an option, I guess, but yeah.
not right now.
Not right
No,
now.
I understand. But I think as we just spoke about, acknowledging Tom and
Yeah.
that's it's really positive.
Yeah.
And I suppose that, if Tom was still here in the physical form, how do you think, or if he could speak back to you, what do you think he would say to you?
It's okay, Dad. It's okay, mate.
Yeah. Do you think he would want to see you work through this?
Yeah. I don't think he wants to see me this upset.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was only 4, so I don't think he would understand the process.
Yes. Yeah.
He never really experienced any loss.
Yeah.
So he just had his pets. None of them died while he was still with us.
Okay.
So yeah, he was only 4.
Yeah.
But like if he was still here, he'd just give me a big hug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds
He
like
knows what people are upset. So
Yes. Yeah. Sensitive. Yeah.
yeah.
It sounds like you have a really, really strong relationship, and that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Memories.
Pretty good buddies.
Yeah. So I suppose we're just coming to the end of our time for today. I just wanted to ask you, I know we've had 3 sessions now, just how you feel the sessions are going. Do you feel like you're progressing? Is there anything else we could be doing or exploring that would be of a benefit to you?
I don't really know, Kate. I know I look forward to coming to these sessions. Because I just feel so alone.
Yeah.
And so even if I don't make any sense while I'm here, it's just nice to be in the room in the company of someone that has capacity to understand. So that alone is beneficial, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
So as far as what else I need, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's out of my head.
Yeah, and I think as situations and circumstances crop up week to week, and you will begin to feel different. I know it doesn't feel like that at the moment, but you do make sense when you come in, and I think it's good just to have the space to reflect your thoughts, and just for me as well to be able to give you a bit of information on the normality of your reaction physically and mentally to this situation. And I think you're doing a really great job in coming in here and dealing with it.
I appreciate your time.
No, thank you for coming in again, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks,
All right,
Kate.
cheers.
Okay.